Hey there, welcome to My Green Pets. I'm William Green, and this is my orchid collection. I keep most of my orchids in a rented greenhouse space, which is great because temperature, humidity, even watering and fertilizing are all taken care of. But there still are a few adjustments here and there that I make. And then I also have some plants at home. I think I have about 7 orchids at home at this point. So later on in the broadcast, we'll go home and see what's going on over there. But let's start out with just the plants that are flowering, the plants that are spiking, getting close to flower, and then we'll look at some growth, and it'll be a great time. So let's go. All right, let's start with Hal. This is Bobophyllum echinolabium, and it blooms sequentially on this long spike, and this is the 17th flower since, well, it's been well over a year that this has been blooming every couple weeks, so that's a great plant. This is a Mormodia jumbo world, so Catasetum season is in full swing. Had 2 Catasetum types bloom already. This is the third. It's probably going to bloom, I don't know, probably not till January. And it's got beautiful little green flowers that kind of smell like menthol. And then here's the fourth of the Catasetum types. This is a Fredclarkeara, and it's got a little skirt on it to keep the water off of it. I'm trying to let them dry out a little bit more. It's definitely got a little green nubbin on one side, so I'm taking it that that's a spike, which is probably going to need a pretty long time to develop. And then on the other side, I can't quite tell if something's pushing out there, but stay tuned. Paphiopedilum Velozum's been in bloom for well over a month, and it looks like it's kind of nearing the end of its life, but it's had a really nice little bloom, and it's just love that shape and how shiny it is. This is Phalaenopsis schilleriana, and it is really, it took a while for that spike to get going, but it has really sped up recently. And so it's got 2 branches already, and it looks like it's kind of curving over to the left. I'm not going to stake it. I polled my viewers on Instagram, and everybody said, well, 63% people said, don't stake it, so we're not going to stake it. We'll see what happens. Bulbophyllum medusae is pushing out its little spikes. It's got 13 this year, and some of them, you can see some of them have little spots on them. I'm not sure if that's a good sign, so we'll see. The past few years, some spikes have aborted for whatever reason, so I have a feeling that there might be a couple, like, see these two, how they look a little bit brown along the edges there and have spots. I'm not exactly sure why, but I'm thinking those might not actually end up blooming, but we'll see. Bobophorum Frostia, oh no, it's Frostia, lobbii, sorry. Putting out brand new nice big bulb. Roots are starting to push out of that one. And then there's another growth right next to that. Going to do the same thing, I hope. I love that stage when the new roots are pushing out. Stanhopea oculata is pushing out 3 new growths. And these also just are coming up in a very nice, majestic way. And then this is a Bobophyllum wendlandianum, and it's got 1 new growth. I had to split this plant up earlier this year. I had some issues with some rot in some of the lower bulbs, but new growth is a good sign, and hopefully it will do well. These Cattleya seedlings, I think they're bloom size. I think they should bloom next summer. But what's cool is that normally these kind of don't really grow much during the winter time. But because the greenhouse provides such nice warm conditions and plenty of water throughout the dry season, as it were, they keep growing throughout the winter. This one was pollinated back in August, and I'm looking forward to that maturing and then sending that off to a lab to make some seed and make some baby Cattleyas. They all seem to be growing pretty well. Nice roots pushing out there. This Bobophyllum Lovely Elizabeth is just filling up its basket, but no sign of spikes yet. And then, actually, there's another Bulbophyllum in here in the bottom here. This is catenulatum. It's a really small little guy, but he's got two teeny tiny little spikes pushing up there. You see them? I'm kind of pointing to them there. And so that'll be cool to see those bloom. They've just kind of been silently chugging along in the corner there. And then the mottled leafed slipper orchids. There's a Tonsum. This is a urbanianum. Then there's a callosum that bloomed beautifully for us back in June. And then on the bottom left there is a venustum seedling. And then on the right is a appletonianum, and it's actually got a spike pushing out, even though it bloomed last year. And it's a relatively young plant, so the leaves look really great. They just seem to do very, very well in the greenhouse. I don't have to do anything to them, and that is so nice to see. Just plants really enjoying the environment that they're in. Hey there, we're in my indoor orchid growing area in front of a window in my apartment. Just wanted to show you Cycnodes Wine Delight. Still looking great. The flowers are starting to fade a little bit, but they've lasted 3 weeks, which I'm very happy about. And then Catasetum Fong Cing is totally done, and both of its spikes are drying out. And I kept all the flowers. They dried out really quickly, and they kept their color actually, which is pretty cool. I don't know, it could be like a nice decoration somewhere. This is Catania Autumn, or the cattail orchid. And cattail orchid blooms in the spring, but right now in the fall it is going dormant, and you can see all the leaves have just kind of withered and fallen to the side there to reveal the bulb. And then there's a growth that kind of started later in the season that I expect will go dormant here in the next month or so as well. And these come out in April, start growing again. And hoping for next year we'll have 6 flowers come up. And they're really cool. They're kind of a small purple to yellow cattail looking thing. Pretty cool. I've got 2 big multifloral slipper orchids over here, and they're just growing right along inside here. And then over here we got this big monster Phalaenopsis. Came from a co-worker, and you can see it's growing lots of new roots, and it's got even a new leaf coming up here, which is kind of unseasonable for it. So yeah, looks pretty good, and not sure when it'll bloom. It might need a whole year to kind of adjust, but yeah, it looks good. Looks cool. Well, that's it for this week, guys. I'm glad you stopped by to My Green Pets to tune in. And everything is just growing right along, looking pretty nice. Wish I had a few more flowers right now, but you know what? The new growth is also really, really nice to see. And without growth, you don't get flowers. So I hope that everything's growing well for you. And I will see you next time right here on My Green Pets. I'm William Green. Happy growing.